Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in to Tipsy Tales, What's Not in Your Textbook Edition. I am Jillian, your lovely bartender, and today we'll be having some fun. We are not just learning history and mixology, but biology as well. I'll be showing you how to make what I call a Henrietta Immortal DNA shot. We will also be learning about a woman named Henrietta Lacks that changed the medical research world forever. Henrietta Lacks, born Louetta Pleasant, August 1st, 1920 to October 4th, 1951, was an African-American woman whose cancer cells are the source of the HeLa cell line, the first immortalized human cell line and one of the most important cell lines in medical research. An immortalized cell line reproduces indefinitely under certain conditions, and the HeLa cell line continues to be a source of invaluable medical data to the present day. Lacks was the unwitting source of these cells from a tumor biopsy during treatment for cervical cancer at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland in 1951. These cells were then cultured by George Otto Gay, who created the cell line known as HeLa, which is still used for medical research. As was then the practice, no consent was obtained to culture her cells. Consistent with modern standards, nor she nor her family were compensated for their extraction or use. George Otto Gay, the first researcher to study Lacks' cancer cells, observed that her cells were unique in that they reproduced at a very high rate and could be kept alive long enough to allow more in-depth examination. Until then, cells cultured by laboratory studies survived for only a few days at most, which wasn't long enough to perform a variety of different tests on the same sample. Lacks cells were the first to be observed that could be divided multiple times without dying, which is why they became known as immortal. Gay was able to start a cell line from Lacks' sample by isolating one cell and repeatedly dividing it, meaning that the same cell could then be used for conducting many experiments. They became known as HeLa cells because Gay's standard practice for a labeling sample was to use the first two letters of the patient's first and last name. HeLa cells were in high demand and put into mass production. They were mailed to scientists around the globe for research into cancer, AIDS, the effects of radiation and toxic substance, gene mapping, and countless other scientific pursuits. HeLa cells were the first human cells successfully cloned in 1955 and have since been used to test human sensitivity to tape, glue, cosmetics, and many other products. Since the 1950s, scientists have grown as much as 50 million metric tons of her cells, and there are almost 11,000 patients involving HeLa cells. In the early 1970s, a large portion of other cell cultures became contaminated by HeLa cells. As a result, members of Henrietta's family received solicitations for blood samples from the researchers, hoping to learn more about the family's genetics. Alarmed and confused, several family members began questioning why they were receiving so many telephone calls requesting blood samples. Even though some information about the origins of HeLa immortalized cell lines was known to researchers after 1970, the Lacks family was not made aware of the line's existence until 1975. With knowledge of the cell line's genetic source becoming public, its use for medical research and for commercial purposes continued to raise concern about privacy and patients' rights. Over the past decades, this cell line has contributed to many medical breakthroughs, from research on the effects of zero gravity in outer space and the development of polio vaccine to the study of leukemia, the AIDS virus, and cancer worldwide. Hope you all learned something new today. I would like to give a shout out to my amazing friend Shayla for this beautiful necklace that I have on. If you like this necklace, please check it out on her Facebook, Shayla Ansa Collections. She has some amazing pieces on there. Remember, knowledge is power. Bye.